All right, picking up where we left off with controlling competition. What this really talks about is the competitors actually controlling competition within their own markets. This is typically called collusion, and when a group of companies that are doing this that are controlling the competition within their market would be called a cartel, which is most typically associated with OPEC, the oil producing nation cartel. So they get together, have a meeting, and they dictate oil prices. So in the process of the cartel meeting and discussing oil prices would be called collusion. So what we have here is a situation where the book tells us, it gets into some detail on this, but by and large society has told us collusion and cartels are a bad thing. But I'm not so sure that's really the case. We have to look at both sides of this. Sure, the people can, in a specific industry, can collude and decide that, yes, we're going to change the prices, artificially raise the prices so everybody has to pay more, and since we all agreed to do it, nothing bad can happen. But it doesn't really work that way. If the prices are set too high, there's tremendous motivation for one of the members of the cartel to drop out of the cartel or violate the policies of the cartel and sell at a lower price, which has happened with OPEC. A smaller example that might make more sense is if we take a gas station, maybe a group of gas stations, 3 gas stations off one of those exits on I-5 up on the way to San Francisco where you're in the middle of nowhere and you're 30 miles from another gas station and you don't have any choices. And you notice the prices are a little bit higher there. But what if those 3 gas station owners got together over a pizza and said, hey, why not raise those prices even more? Why don't we take those prices and make them, we all charge $7 for a gallon of gas instead of charging $4.30 like everyone else in San Francisco and LA. But what would really happen if they did that? Well, first, anybody that can make it that next 30 miles is going to try and make it. They're not going to pay the $7. And next, if you can't make it the 30 miles, you're going to pull over and you're going to pay just enough of the $7 to fill your tank up a gallon and a half to get you that 30 miles to the next gas station, which is going to charge a more reasonable price, most likely. You're willing to take that risk. So what's going to happen to the demand for gas at those 3 gas stations? It's going to go way down. Right? Just because you collude on price doesn't mean that you're going to make more money. Okay? Demand is still dictated by price. So whether or not those gas stations are colluding or anyone is colluding on the prices you pay for something, you're not going to buy as much if the price is higher. That's just the way it is. So what would happen? In that case, they would be selling less, $7 a gallon isn't working, and one of them is going to say, I'll forget it, I'm going to charge $6.50. And then the others are going to say, we're going to sell nothing if he's charging $6.50 and we're charging $7, so we're going to charge $6. And then they're going to work their way back down until they finally settle at a pretty normalized price, which in those types of gas stations is about 5 to 10% higher than other gas stations that maybe would be in LA or San Francisco. And the reason for that is people are willing to pay that little bit of premium on price because they are in the middle of nowhere and it's not worth their time to do the thing where you fill up just a gallon or two and then go to the next gas station and fill up for real. It's not really worth their time at that point. So that's why those prices are typically 5 or 10% higher. You're willing to put up with it. Same gas stations if you're on a river or a lake and you're in a boat. They're going to charge a lot more for gas than you would at the gas station if you pulled your boat out of water, but it's going to be just enough. It's going to be just competitive enough where you're going to say, it's just not worth the trouble of getting my boat out of the water or going and buying gas cans and trucking them down to the boat on the side of the shore. So they're going to find that sweet spot where you're still willing to pay a little bit more. But that's supply and demand. It's not the cartel creating the price. For example, if the oil cartel cranked those prices way up to $100 a gallon, are we going to buy it? No, we're all going to go buy the Nissan Leaf or some other electric car and not worry about it. Maybe we won't be able to drive as far, but that's okay. The economy would collapse. Nobody would buy gas for $100, and those countries would lose all their oil income. It makes no sense for them to keep the prices artificially high. They're going to set it right at peak demand, whether or not it's a cartel or whether or not collusion takes place. That all being said, the government still doesn't trust people and doesn't believe in the free market in this area, obviously, because they still make collusion illegal. And we're going to talk about that more with antitrust legislation in the next section. All right, that's it for this one. We'll pick you up in part 3.